I had a sworn nemesis. We hadn't seen each other in 7 years. And now he was blind. But somehow, this blind man had become my betrothed. Because I was deaf. The world said, a blind man and a deaf one. What a perfect match. During my rut, my mind was a mess. Why didn't I realize before? You're really good at biting. When I finally opened my eyes, I was dizzy from his kisses. He was staring straight at me. His eyes, clear, bright, focused. You've got to be kidding me. You're blind, remember? I cursed out loud. He sank his teeth gently into my neck, lips brushing my skin. Then are you deaf, Eric Brooks? He murmured. He wasn't blind at all. And what's worse, he had presented as an enigma. Welcome to He History Channel. Subscribe to follow all our latest adventures. Story begins. My name is Eric Brooks, top-tier alpha, born under a lucky star. That is, until a car accident shattered it all. I lost hearing in one ear. My gland was damaged. And then there's Henry Smith, my sworn nemesis. We hadn't seen each other in 7 years. Once just as untouchable as I was, the golden boy of his clan. Then, word got out, he'd fallen. They said he'd presented as an omega. And gone blind. Our families arranged a marriage. The elders said, a deaf alpha and a blind omega? A match made in heaven. What they didn't know was, my hearing came back months ago. But with no real power in hand, I kept that recovery to myself. Revealing it would only make me a bigger target. So I waited, for power, for healing, and for the truth about the crash. I showed up at the engagement party with every intention of mocking him. But then I saw him, alone in a corner, leaning on a white cane. I hesitated. Eric Brooks. You came. Are you here to marry me? Henry Smith stood up, towering over me, sunglasses on. Still strikingly handsome. He smelled faintly of flowers. Was that an omega's scent? I was suspicious, but with my damaged gland, I couldn't tell for sure. Maybe I'd just grown insensitive to pheromones. Still, hard to believe a guy like him ended up an omega. I choked on my words. I meant to mock him. Then my cousins Tony and Roland Collins strolled by. Their voices cut straight through the crowd. Freaking hilarious. A deaf alpha and a blind omega. What are they gonna do? Start a disabled gang? Neither of them are qualified to inherit anything. That Henry Smith? I heard he signed a side bet. If the engagement fails, he has to hand over 30% of his shares. My fists clenched. Tony and Roland had been mocking me for years. I turned to deck them, only for someone to grab my wrist. Henry pulled me into a tight embrace, his lips brushing my ear. Marry me, Eric Brooks. I promise, your body and soul won't regret it. I stared at him. He may have been blind, but his family name still carried weight. This marriage could actually help me. I took his hand. Fine. We get married. Anyone who abandons you is a damn dog. He smirked. Even if you're a dog, you're mine. You're seriously asking for it. Not going to waste energy arguing with a blind man. Otherwise, I'd have slapped that cocky smile off his face. The Smiths agreed to the marriage in record time. They even held a press conference like they were scared I'd back out. Eric, his parents said, beaming, if anything ever makes you unhappy, just come to us. We'll stand by you. There was no concern for their own son. Only concern for me. His older brother Roy looked at me like I was some kind of war hero. You're impressive. A top alpha willing to endure so much. Truly admirable. What the hell? Were they afraid I'd be the one to walk away? Before I could process it, they all left. Something wasn't right. I was beginning to think I'd just stepped into a nightmare. And sure enough, I had. Could you help me shower? He asked the next morning. I still can't see. I nearly dislocated my jaw from how fast it dropped. What does showering have to do with vision? That's what I said. But my feet moved on their own, guiding him to the bathroom, my arm around his waist. His skin was smooth. That scent again, heady, almost addictive. Heat stirred in my chest. I couldn't help it, my pheromones slipped out. Rein it in, he warned softly. If you can't control it, I won't hold back. And you'll be the one suffering. I froze. You've got it backwards. I'm the alpha. You're the omega. You'd be the one suffering. He smiled, then released his own pheromones. The moment they hit me, my legs buckled. I collapsed to the sofa. What the hell? How are you overpowering me? Even with my damaged gland, I was still an alpha. An omega shouldn't be able to suppress me. He leaned close, lips grazing mine. Told you. Marrying me? Mind and body, completely satisfied. You're not an omega, are you? You're an alpha too. No way anyone but an alpha, an elite one, could suppress me like that. Henry drew back slightly and settled onto the couch, blind eyes turned in my direction. Used to be alpha. But it's still up in the air. My brow furrowed. What does that even mean? I underwent a second differentiation, he explained. It's not finished yet. My sight loss? A side effect of the blood transformation. I'm not fully blind. I signed a conditional contract with the family. If I stabilize as an alpha or enigma, I inherit. If I regress to beta or omega, I lose everything. His smile was sly, head tilted. You could become an enigma? Then why the hell would your family throw you at someone like me? I had no real authority. I was still technically on the heir list, but my odds weren't great. He yanked me by the wrist, pulled me onto the couch beneath him. Are you deaf or just stupid? The guy who fixed your hearing, he's my cousin. I'll thank him later. He chuckled. No need. But why do you always seem mad when we talk? I thought we were close, honey. Remember 7 years ago? We were roommates. I grit my teeth. Roommates who shared a bed, damn you. Of course I remember. We'd grown up side by side, sons of powerful families. Elementary, high school, college, he was always one step ahead. He'd rank first, I'd rank second. Boys. Then came college entrance exams. I was in heat during testing, and my scores tanked. I thought I'd finally be rid of him, only for him to show up at the same university. He hadn't even differentiated yet. And yet, he hovered around me like a curse. I couldn't beat him at anything, except one thing. I presented as alpha before he did. So I ordered a custom doll modeled after him. I'd smack it, rant at it. Pretend he was listening. Henry Smith. They all say I live in your shadow. Guess what? Now you're in mine. One day, Henry Smith, I'll be the one to destroy you. Of course, he found out. Some bastard posted the doll online. Sales blew up overnight. The worst part? The next day, he started showing signs of differentiation. I heard you made a doll of me. Why not try the real thing? I'm still not fully differentiated. Give it a few more days. That night, he climbed into my bed and pinned me against the frame. Cuddling a doll's no fun. Want to hold the real deal? I remember the smirk on his face to this day. I ran. Returned to my family. Didn't wait for his presentation. Car crash. Hearing loss. Everything fell apart. I transferred schools. He disappeared. Looking back, maybe, just maybe, he had something to do with that crash. The more I thought about it, the angrier I got. I flipped him down onto the sofa, sank my teeth into his neck. If I hadn't gone deaf, I'd be TN's executive director by now. He wrapped his arms around me. Don't worry. I'll help you get everything back. Blood trickled down from the bite I left on his neck. I shoved him away. You can talk big once your eyes are healed. Now, shower? I grinned, dragging him into the bathroom and pressing him against the wall. If strong emotions during secondary differentiation can destabilize your glands, why not become a beta? Carry my scent instead. Forget becoming an enigma. Just be mine. He twisted around and caught my wrist. Go ahead. If you've got what it takes, by all means. The bathroom was thick with steam. By the time I finished helping him shower, I was soaked through myself. You want to take off your clothes and wash up too? He asked, his hands gliding casually over my skin while his eyes stared at the fogged-up mirror, never once landing on me. I hesitated, then thought, whatever, he can't see anyway. So I stripped. He stood with his back to me, eyes seemingly focused on his own reflection. Even knowing he was blind, his stare made my skin crawl, in a way that left me itching. I couldn't stop watching his face as my hand drifted lower, down across my abdomen, like a snake slithering into the dark, tongue flicking with temptation. After it was over, I held myself against the wall, panting quietly, suppressing every sound. Still facing the mirror, he smiled faintly. "Feel good, Eric Brooks?" My eyes shot open. "What?" He clarified with a laugh. "The hot shower. Wasn't it nice?" I wiped sweat from my brow. "Yeah, it was." He went quiet for a moment, then added, "My vision's deteriorated, yes. But I'm not actually blind. I can still see, just not clearly." I froze. The heat that had risen in my body now rushed to my face. It was too late to pretend nothing had happened. The deed was done. If there was a hole in the ground nearby, I'd be diving headfirst into it. He ran a finger along the fogged mirror, voice light as air. "Lucky for you I haven't finished differentiating yet. Otherwise, you'd be on your knees, begging for me right now." Suddenly flustered, I yanked my clothes back on. "This bathroom's way too hot. I'm going to bed." Just as I threw myself onto the bed, Henry Smith tossed me a giant pillow. I looked closer. It had his face printed on it. His face. "For now I can't give you the real thing. Make do with this." He smirked under those stupid sunglasses, expression smug enough to make anyone want to slap it off. Scowling, I hurled the pillow right back at him. "Screw that. You can make do." He just pulled out another pillow, with my face on it. "I will," he said, deadpan. "Henry Smith," I muttered, "you are genuinely insane." Not long after, he handed me a file, thick, well-organized. It was a list of heirs from the upper circles, along with current company execs. "I know you've been abroad," he said. "You're out of touch. I've compiled their backgrounds and preferences. Should help." It was meticulous work. I clapped a hand on his shoulder. "Nice job, you little blind bat. When I get my power back, I'll cover for you." He chuckled. "Cover me? Where in bed?" I chucked a book at his head. "Dumbass." Then I noticed he'd highlighted one profile in particular. Bernard Fox? Gland research? I blinked. My damaged gland had never fully recovered. I'd searched high and low for doctors, but none could help. Henry nodded. "He can repair damaged glands. He's one of the top names internationally." "You coming with me?" It was a big event tonight. Powerful people from all sectors would be there. A good place to make connections. Henry leaned close and adjusted his sunglasses. "Nah, better not. Wouldn't want to embarrass you. Otherwise everyone'll be gossiping again. The deaf and the blind, perfect freak pair." I smirked. "You call me honey again and I swear." Grabbing his collar, I pulled him closer. "Call me husband. You're the honey. You eat my food, drink my wine, live in my house. You belong to me. Understand?" He leaned in, voice sultry. "Haven't eaten or drunk anything yet. And when the time comes, who owns who is still up for debate?" I frowned, pushing him back a little. "Stay home. Behave." The event was packed. Plenty of people came over to offer their congratulations on my engagement to the Smiths. Still, I couldn't find Bernard Fox. Instead, my cousin Roger Hancock waltzed up. Roger never vied for the family business. He was just a rich playboy. He handed me a glass of wine and clapped me on the back. "Looking for Bernard Fox?" He chased Henry Smith for 5 years. Just when he was about to land him, you swooped in and married him. Think he's really going to help you fix your gland now? I stared at my cousin and took a sip. Does it matter? He's a doctor. Money talks. Roger smirked. He's in a private suite on the 3rd floor. Crowd down here's too thick. Talking to him in public would cause a scene. I went upstairs and found Bernard Fox. I don't need full restoration. 70% will do, I said. Just enough to stabilize my pheromones. Bernard glanced at my gland and replied bluntly, I can restore you to peak alpha condition. But only if Henry Smith comes to see me. My brows knitted. Why? He swirled the wine in his glass. I chased him for 5 years. Then poof, he gets married. He owes me an explanation. He clinked his glass against mine and left like he just won some silent war. Watching him walk away, I muttered under my breath. What a psycho. Calls himself a doctor but should really get his own head examined. I tried not to care. Henry's romantic history had nothing to do with me. But somehow, I ended up drinking more than I planned. Too much. The pheromones started to stir. That, of course, drew unwanted attention. Eric, a drunk Omega, slurred as he bumped into me. That blind Smith boy must not be able to satisfy you, huh? I didn't see his face. Just heard the sneering laughter. Your body doesn't even smell like Omega. Didn't mark him, did you? His scent was nauseating. I shoved him aside, but my own pheromones flared up in response. I can take care of you, he purred, clinging to me. I was burning up, annoyed, hot, restless. Couldn't take it anymore. I kicked him away. Get lost. Disgusting. Back home, I threw off my jacket and collapsed onto the sofa. Sweat soaked my collar. Felt like I was wrapped around a furnace. Somewhere in the haze, someone handed me an ice pop. Take a bite. You'll feel better. I bit into it. But instead of cooling me down, it made the fire worse. I jolted awake. Lips crashed into mine. Pheromones filled the air, Henry Smith's. And to my surprise, it felt good. I tried to push him away, but he only held me tighter. Bite me, he murmured. Shoulder or neck, your choice. Dazed, I gave in. Sank my teeth into him. His blood hit like a drug, loaded with potent pheromones. Henry gripped the back of my head, pressing it down. Just don't waste it. You need this to withstand it. My brain was foggy, but I was sure he got it wrong. It's him who'll need to withstand me, once I recover. You've been bad, he whispered. Why do you smell like another Omega? Bad boys need to be punished. In my blurry vision, I saw him strip off his clothes. Still sprawled on the couch, I couldn't help but mutter, damn, no wonder people like you. You've got a hell of a body. He pinned my wrists, lips brushing mine. Like what you see. My head swam. Like, I murmured. He kissed me again. The rest was a blur. We went at it like animals. But neither of us marked the other. My gland was still broken. His differentiation incomplete. All we ended up with was a couch full of saliva. I stared into the mirror, fixated on the marks covering my neck. One day, I'm going to mark you, Henry Smith. He sat shirtless in the corner, sunglasses on, smiling faintly. You bit hard, he said. He wasn't wrong. There was a deep bite on his shoulder, blood still visible. Didn't expect you to be such a biter. That smile, there was something behind it. Ping, my phone buzzed. It was a message from Bernard Fox. Gland restoration requires 3 procedures over 6 months. Price of treatment. Have Henry Smith come see me. Thanks. You know Bernard Fox? I asked casually. Yeah. He chased you for 5 years? You like him? His voice lifted at the end, unreadable behind those dark shades. I tossed the phone into Henry Smith's lap. Your old flame wants to see you. So we went together to meet Bernard Fox. The moment we walked in, Bernard didn't even say hello. He just took Henry's blood. Staring at the sample, Bernard suddenly burst into tears. If you'd just given me this blood 5 years ago, do you think I would have chased you all that time? I deadpanned. You chased him for a blood sample? Bernard nodded earnestly. Yeah. What, you thought I was in it for love? Who's as love-crazed as you? You're only fixing your gland so you can mark him. I nearly choked. Excuse me? I'm not fixing it for him. He scoffed. Sure, I get it. Just for the thrill, right? Look at you, both your bodies are covered in bite marks. 2 broken alphas playing pretend. You think you can even mark each other? I didn't bother arguing. He'd never get it. The treatment required 3 months. 3 full months where my gland couldn't be stimulated. As we left, Bernard called after us. Hey, just remember, no biting the gland for 3 months. Everywhere else is fair game though. Henry grinned. I almost turned back and smacked Bernard across the face. 3 months later, I completed my final gland restoration. Henry's eyes had improved a lot too, his vision nearly back, his pheromones stabilizing. He was beautiful. When he sat quietly, he became the only thing I could see. I leaned in close and kissed his ear. When's the differentiation going to finish? You'd make a damn gorgeous Omega. I can't wait to. He smiled. Soon. Probably in the next few days. I patted his shoulder. Good. Because I've got a few things to handle. It was time to reclaim my position in the family. Step 1. Deal with Tony and Roland Collins. I'd found out they frequented the bar scene. I started going too, partly to trail them, partly to avoid suspicion. Didn't want Henry getting jealous, so I invited him drinking every night. Where are you? I've been waiting forever. I didn't pick him up. His vision was nearly restored. He could manage. Almost there. Wait for me like a good boy. I sent the message and kept drinking. Just then, I caught sight of my two dear cousins heading into a private suite. Curious, I followed. Didn't expect what I found. They were inside, dressed in leather, holding whips, kneeling. My jaw dropped. So this is what you're into, huh? I turned to leave, and smacked straight into a top-tier alpha. His face was flushed, pheromones unstable. Before I could move, he pinned me to the wall. What were you filming, sweetheart? The noise drew the attention of the others. Tony and Roland came out, their eyes flashing. Oh well, if it isn't the little deaf freak. They snatched my phone and crushed it beneath their heels. Then dragged me inside. Roland handed me a drink. We're family, Eric. Have a drink. The bubbles, the heavy pheromone catalyst in the air. One sip and I'd be out cold. So I have no choice in this, huh, cousin? Roland smiled. You drink it. Then we invite a few alphas and omegas to join the party. Maybe even film it. You know, for family keepsakes. They started to close in. Their pheromones surged. I didn't want to expose my restored gland, but their pressure forced my hand. I released mine. Our pheromones clashed, thick in the air. You smell that? Tony sneered. Little freak's gland is working again. From the corner, two other alphas stepped forward, eager. An alpha? Easy to break. Roland and Tony smirked at each other. A snap of their fingers, and more alphas surrounded me. Phones came out. Come on, sweetheart. Be good for us. I dodged left. Luckily, I'd trained in boxing while my gland was damaged. Bam. The door slammed open. Henry Smith stood in the doorway, sunglasses on. I'll play with you instead. A burst of pheromones swept through the room. Sweet, heavy, overwhelming. Henry Smith? You presented as an Omega? I gasped. You can't take them all. Get out of here before you get hurt. He smiled calmly. Without warning, he shoved me out the door and slammed it shut. Henry Smith. Open the damn door. Why the hell did he push me out? 2 against 10 was better than 1. Even from outside, his pheromones leaked through the cracks. They were too strong. I could barely stay on my feet. I slid down the wall, breath ragged. Henry Smith, don't tell me you're actually getting. I sat there, trying to stay conscious. Time passed. I didn't know how much. Then the door creaked open. I rushed forward, heart in my throat. Are you okay? What were you thinking? They're dangerous. He was bleeding, a long gash along his neck. I looked past him. Every single alpha in that room was unconscious. He scooped me into his arms. I dealt with them. Let me take care of the rest. Will you let me? I couldn't move. His pheromones were intoxicating. You're hurt. Blood trickled from his neck to his shoulder. It's fine. Couldn't ask for compensation if I didn't bleed a little. He leaned close. Pheromones swept around me, sweet, thick, like syrup. Omega, but it made my body go weak, not aroused. He carried me to a cleaner suite. Just finished differentiating. They triggered a rut. Sorry about that. His eyes were red. He wasn't thinking straight. Henry Smith's pheromones surged, engulfing me. I tried to get up. He pulled me back to bed. Wait, what did you present as? Eric Brooks. He leaned in, teeth grazing my collar. I'm an Enigma. Be my exclusive alpha. His teeth sank into my neck. Pheromones surged through me. My body burned. I bit his shoulder in return, trying to push back. But I couldn't compete. His pheromones were too strong. They stripped me of strength, of resistance. "Didn't know you liked biting so much," he whispered, breath hot against my ear. I was dizzy, reeling. His eyes were locked on mine. Sharp, focused, not blind at all. "You bastard. I thought you had night blindness." He bit me again. "Yeah. Your tender, loving care cured me." He really had become an enigma. A few days later, Henry Smith returned to the Smith family as their newly differentiated enigma. I happened to be at the hospital for a checkup too. Ever since Henry marked me, my gland had been aching non-stop. The doctor took a sample from the marked area, as well as my pheromones. "Shit," I muttered, "don't tell me I'm presenting as an omega?" But there had never been a case where an alpha turned omega after being marked. Still, the worry gnawed at me. Just then my phone lit up. Breaking, elite heirs caught in hotel kink scandal. The video I'd taken months ago had been instantly uploaded to the cloud. Even if the phone had been smashed, the data would have backed up to several platforms. Serves them right. Alongside the video, I went ahead and made public the news about my restored hearing and gland function. The Smiths brought Henry to the hospital to confirm whether he had truly differentiated into an enigma. Along with the official announcement of Henry's successful presentation, another piece of news broke. The Smith family had filed a compensation claim against the Collins family. "Congratulations. You won the wager with the Smiths." As I texted Henry, I reviewed the new files my family had sent over. Recently, I'd started participating in the family business. The Collins family paid a settlement to save Tony and Roland. But I found out, the alpha behind your crash 7 years ago? He was someone they knew. Henry sent a photo. I stared at it, remembering that after my accident, Roland had been immediately put through executive training. Those two cousins of mine, they'd benefited the most. "Are you going to press charges?" Henry was waiting for my decision. "Yes." I answered with just one word and immediately called my dad. "Hated. That alpha who hit me, where is he now?" I briefly explained. My father exploded. "My sweet boy, don't you worry. Dad's got your back. Just rest up and focus on the pregnancy." "What?" I stared at my phone, genuinely thinking I'd dialed the wrong number. I double-checked. Nope, it was him. "Dad, what the hell do you mean pregnancy?" "You didn't read the news? They're all saying you're 3 months in." I hung up on the spot. Opened the news. And there it was, in all its absurd, screaming glory. Elite marriage, childhood friends turned surrogate spouses. Top-tier A and E's triple baby plan revealed. I was about to screenshot the headline and demand an explanation from Henry. Then I saw the author line. Written by Henry's father, Baby Cuddler Club president. Oh, these Smiths were something else. I called Henry directly. "This headline. You wrote this crap?" Henry laughed on the other end. "Just prepping the public, love. That way, when the real thing happens, no one will believe it." Damn it. I hated how reasonable that sounded. 7 years ago, my car accident had been no accident. The investigation confirmed the Collins family's involvement. I reclaimed everything that had been mine. Roland and Tony were taken into custody for bribing someone to crash into me. Thanks to Henry, I solidified my position in the family quickly. Our engagement had served its purpose. Now the question was, what about the marriage itself? Your compatibility report with Henry just came in. Want to see it? Bernard Fox was at it again. Who cared? It's not like I could not marry him at this point. You really should look. I sighed and opened the file. 16%. Even lower than the compatibility between a human and a dog. In the Empire, divorce rates were inversely proportional to pheromone compatibility. Under 20%, the divorce rate soared to 80%. The success rate for marking also corresponded directly to compatibility. No wonder the mark had hurt so badly. I didn't even know if it had succeeded. As I was processing that, Bernard called. Enigmas have extremely strict standards when it comes to mates. Low compatibility means pain. For both of you. He'll be possessive. Obsessively so. And with a match this low, he won't be able to help himself. He'll keep biting you. I blinked. So, the reason I bit him so hard was because of the low compatibility? Not my fault then. Eric Brooks, are you even listening? I sighed. Yeah. I'll talk to him about it. I didn't mind. But if Henry did, what then? Would he not marry him? I paused, shook my head, looked up at the ceiling and groaned. Come on, Eric Brooks, don't be love-brained. You don't need Henry to live. If it's not right, then end it. When Henry returned from his family, I told him about the compatibility score. He just gave a low hum, and then tried to pull me into the bedroom. A little distance makes the reunion sweeter, doesn't it, honey? He didn't care at all. I pushed at him. Henry Smith, I think we should cut this off now before we get too attached. We're just not a good match. He froze, then pinned me down. Eric Brooks, he murmured, so you never liked me. Not really. I didn't answer. Did I like him? I didn't know. 7 years ago, I hadn't thought about it. When we reunited, we got engaged so fast I never had the time to wonder. He pulled me close, burying his face in my neck, breath hot. I don't want to let you go. His grip tightened on my shoulders. You can only belong to me. If you leave again, I'll lose my mind. He kissed me, grabbed my hand, pulled off his shirt. I like you. I thought you liked me too. Still, I didn't answer. So he bit my lip, hard. Whether you like me or not, you're mine. 4 days afterward, Henry kept his distance. He was clearly avoiding me. I didn't even get a chance to explain. Every time I called, he'd hang up after a few words. Then one day, he texted me, "Here's the guest list for the wedding. See if there's anyone you want to add." I replied quickly, "When are you coming back?" His next message, "Do you love me?" I frowned. "Does that have anything to do with you coming back?" His reply came instantly, "Yes. Because I want all of you, body and soul." I wanted to reply. I wanted to say yes. But just then, my phone lit up with a call. A known number. Eric Brooks, the voice said. "It's me, David Jackson. Long time no see." David Jackson, my old college classmate. Back then, Henry Smith and I were at each other's throats every day. I barely noticed anyone else, much less stayed in touch with them after. "Yeah, it's been a while," I said, keeping things polite. "Congrats on your marriage to Henry Smith." "I always knew you two would end up together," he replied. "I sent you a wedding gift. You'll like it." "A photo album," he added with a grin in his voice. "Every photo of Henry Smith from college." "You're welcome." It was thick, heavier than expected. Most of the pages were filled with photos of Henry, laughing, running, reading. So many had me in the background too. He used to smile a lot. But gradually, the smiles faded. Starting from the year I left, Bernard Fox began appearing beside him more and more. "Bernard Fox, you're really damn annoying," I muttered, to no one in particular. The jealousy hit me so suddenly, I startled even myself. And right on cue, Bernard Fox called. I didn't want to answer, but the phone wouldn't stop ringing. "What?" I snapped. "You better have a good reason. I'm getting married. I'm busy." I made sure to emphasize married. There was a pause. Then, with that signature smugness, "I might have a way to increase your compatibility. Want to try it?" "What?" He chuckled. "You've heard of 2 negatives making a positive, right? Sometimes the more you resist something, the more it sticks. Pheromones work the same way." He gave me pills, something to stimulate pheromone production. I didn't really buy his theory, but Henry had been gone for days. No messages. No calls. It pissed me off. So I called him. "Come home today. I'm in heat. If you don't show up, I'll find someone else." Then I hung up and turned off my phone. Didn't want to hear his excuses. After a hot shower, I used the alpha pheromone stimulant Bernard gave me. It's only when you're delirious that certain things become easy to admit. He slammed the door open moments later. "Eric Brooks, you've got some nerve, threatening to find someone else." I walked up to him, grabbed his wrist, and pinned him against the wall. "I missed you. Bernard said if I react badly to you, I should just touch you more." Build up immunity. I sank my teeth into his neck, hard enough to draw blood, then pulled back. Henry Smith. I think I like you. I didn't know when it started. Maybe back in college. But when I learned I'd be marrying him, I didn't resist. He froze for a moment. Then scooped me up and tossed me on the bed, one hand pressed firmly against my throat. Say it again. I was already feverish, rubbing against his hand without even thinking. Didn't answer. He grabbed my chin, made me look at him, kissed me hard, and whispered in my ear, voice coaxing and low. Be good. Say you like me. I scowled, kicked him lightly. Yeah, I like you. Then I patted his shoulder with a smirk. Don't worry, Henry Smith. I've got your back now. Stick with me, you won't regret it. He smiled. You've got me covered, huh? You do it well. I didn't understand what he meant, at least not until the next morning, when I replayed everything I'd said, and turned completely red. A month later, we went for another compatibility test. This time, we scored higher than me and a dog, 25%. Bernard Fox nodded approvingly. Nice progress. Keep it up. With the supplements I gave you, you might hit average soon. My eyes lit up. Think we can hit 100%? In the Empire, couples with a 100% match received massive state benefits. Bernard smiled politely and shook his head. Getting a passing score is already a miracle. 100%? Keep dreaming. Epilogue. After getting married, Henry and I returned to our university. Hey handsome, what year are you? Which department are you in? We hadn't even made it past the front gate before we were getting flirted with. Some girl even blushed and asked Henry for his number. She ran away, embarrassed, once she noticed me beside him. I overheard someone whisper, "You should have just posted on the confession wall. Way less awkward." The confession wall. I remembered that. A school tradition. Legend says if someone responds to your confession there, you'll be together forever. I snapped a picture of Henry, printed it, and posted it on the wall myself. Dated it. This is my husband. Please don't bother him. Henry looked at the board, fingers brushing over the papers. There's one with your name on it too. I confessed to you here, a long time ago. What? I blinked. I rushed to the section from our freshman year. Nothing. Then to the year I left. Still nothing. Then to his graduation year. Nada. Where is it? I demanded. He pointed to a tiny corner of the wall, beneath layers of old confessions. There, almost invisible, was a sheet of white paper. White ink on white paper, but etched deeply, deliberately. Eric Brooks, will you like Henry Smith someday? Henry Smith already likes Eric Brooks. I pulled it down, held it tight. Eric Brooks likes Henry Smith too, I whispered. Even if it's 7 years late, from now on, I'll love you forever. The end.
Thanks for stopping by. Subscribe and hit the notification bell so you don't miss out on any new videos.